Alright, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is a regularly scheduled board meeting of the Edgewood City School District. Ms. Bowers, you call the roll, please.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Present.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Present.
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Present.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Present.
And for the record, Mr. John Thomas is absent.
Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go ahead.
Let's pray together. Lord, we thank you for Edgewood City Schools. God, many things are needed to make a school system happen. We thank you for certainly the school board. Thank you for parents and sometimes grandparents to help raise kids. We thank you for the kids themselves. And Lord, we pray that tonight, as this school board meets, that you would give them wisdom. Holy Spirit, that you would come. And Lord, where there's discernment needed for big decisions or small, Lord, that you would grant them that. I pray, thanking you for each member. Lord, for decisions financially that are going to be made, we pray you'll lead them. Lord, for anything even smaller, just again, even small votes are important as they make those decisions. Lord, for the transition for the school board and teachers and staff and students, give them a good summer as they come out of this week, and may you keep the kids safe. Renew the strength of teachers and staff as they have their summers. And again, we commit to you tonight. Lord, be glorified and do wonderful things in our school district. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Alright, at this time we'll look for a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Mr. Fall, is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Barnes. Mrs. Bowers, you call the roll, please.
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
And I guess next we have employee attendance awards. Mrs. Beckett.
Well, what a great evening to come out and to see everyone and to celebrate our difference makers in the district. A difference maker is defined as an ordinary person who accomplishes extraordinary things by creating positive change in his or her community and in the lives of others. Every day you show up. So we're talking about people here today who come. They come every day. They're the first face that our students see on those school buses. They're those cafeteria workers that hand them their breakfast in the morning. That teacher that's standing by that door ready to see them. The secretaries who let them come in, and nurses who hand them a Band-Aid, principals who also take care of everything that these kids need. And we're here tonight to celebrate you and to thank you. We're also here to celebrate the people I call the long haulers, the ones who have decided to make Edgewood their forever home. And tonight we'll celebrate those people who are retiring or who have retired and have come back tonight to celebrate with us. So let's begin with perfect attendance. Now, as a principal, sometimes we would have some discussions with parents and different people. Well, what does perfect attendance mean? Perfect attendance means you come every day. You've not missed a day. So tonight we're going to honor these people who have had perfect attendance. Now, if you were here last year, or you were here 2 years ago, or you were here 3 years ago, you're going to start noticing some patterns here. We have people who year after year have perfect attendance or exceptional attendance. And one of the things that fascinates me the most is that we have couples who have shown that exceptional, excellent attendance. So you're going to hear some names, and you're going to notice that these are couples. So let's start with Doug Baker, Kristen Butler. We have several things going on in the district tonight, as you might have guessed. We've got an awards program. We have several athletic events going on. So some people couldn't join us today. Stacy Gambrell.
At least they come to work.
At least they're out there changing the world. Debbie Jewell. Tim Jewell.
I have to cut Tim's too because he's on the trip.
Okay, let me get it for you.
Is he driving the lacrosse bus? And that would be that couple, one of those couples we're talking about.
He's driving.
Bethany
He's
Johnson.
driving lacrosse.
Christina Pence. Craig Smith. James Swartz. And now we have didn't have to get back to work. Our friends with exceptional attendance, and that's when there's 3 or less attendance. We have Alicia Adams and Alex Ehlers. They are at the middle school for an awards assembly or program. Melissa Allen, Christopher Barnes, Dan Benjamin, Jade Benner, Kim Berry, Mark Blair, Maria Beckman, Kieran Boyle, Scott Clemens,
Into those middle school awards too.
Lindsay Clemens, outstanding attendance, Doug Epler, Lisa Urban, Mary Gia Loretto, Diana Golderos, Jenny Halsey, Bob Hawkins, Chloe Hitch, Logan Hoskins, Paula James, Angelina Kendrick, Kevin Kahns, Becky Koontz, Chris Forty, Kit Cresty, Jennifer Maines, Brittany Markham, Debbie Markham, Kevin McDonald, Nikki Myers, Sharice Edwards Ogleton, Andrew Parker, Tracy Phillips, Eric Letts, Marjorie Slayton, Leanne Smith, Darren Steiner, Chris Stratton, and Valerie Sullivan. Thank you all. And a little piece of information that I noticed, from last year to this year, we have increased by 10 people, or people who were receiving awards. So that's a great thing for sure. Our next part of our program tonight will be retirements. And these are people, some of these people may have retired last year, and they're just now we're bringing them back for the end of the year. Some people are getting ready to retire here in a couple of days. So if we could have each person come up, that would be great. Rhonda Aikman, Carol Babb, Jeff Banks, Amy Bendel,
Hey, I can. Just stay up here.
Okay.
Congratulations again.
Teresa Bowyer, Sheila Brunswick,
Teresa's retired.
Yeah. Our place next week.
Charlotte Buchanan,
Thank you.
Brian Caudill, Cindy Fields, Michelle Harris,
Thanks. Appreciate you.
Luana Heller, Beth Hensley, Kevin Johnson, Margaret Jordan, Kim Maynard, Kevin McDonald, Anita Melvin, Linda Porter, Cindy Roxion,
People you work with.
Laura Schuler, Chris Stratton, and Mary Winslow. Thank you all. Thank you all for what you've meant to these students, to the staff, to everyone. What an honor it's been to work with you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're coming back.
Patty wants to get a picture.
Okay.
One more. Thank you, guys.
Okay, I can breathe now.
So, before everybody leaves, just want to introduce a couple people. First time, I know some people are leaving. Our new superintendent, Jeff Madden, who was approved last month, is in the room. Jeff, say hi to everybody. Hello. License, perfect attendance, guys. We have a new assistant principal at Edgewood High School starting next year. Mr. Gagan scoured through a lot of candidates, brought in the top 5, put them through a grueling process. They had to do multiple presentations. To Andrew's presentation was so good, I said, we're stealing his stuff even if we don't hire him. But the good news was, we loved his stuff, we loved him, so we hired him. So Andrew Weiss will be our new assistant principal here at Edgewood High School next year. Coming to us from Lakota. And the Lakota people spoke so highly of him. We're honored to have him. His family's here tonight as well. I think his wife might have stepped out with his little ones. But I want to introduce you before everybody left. Yeah, two small children. So anybody else I need to recognize here tonight? Okay. If I forget anybody, I'll get you here in a minute. So congratulations, Andrew.
All right, we have no public participation tonight, so we'll jump right into treasure items. Get ready, this is a long one. I tried to get her to block A through V, but she won't do it, so it's all for you guys, not for us.
Mrs. Ashcraft, first I'd like to block item A and B, and these are board meeting minutes from April 27th and May 4th. If I could have a motion to approve those, please.
Is there a motion to approve A and B as a block, as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Fall, is there any discussion on these items? Ms. Bodge, call the roll, please.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Paul.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Burns.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the financial reports for April of 2026. I'd like to have a motion to approve those, please.
Is there a motion to approve the April 2026 financial reports as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Fall, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Messerschmidt. Is there any discussion on these items?
Second positive month in a row.
We don't want to get used to that, huh?
I would like to. Yeah, me too.
I know. All right, Ms. Bodge, call the roll, please.
Mr. Kevin Paul.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Yes. That motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item, is that a block?
Yeah.
No, this one's by itself. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the FY26 Butler County ESC MOU for Union Day School.
Is there a motion to approve the Union Day MOU as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Barnes. Is there any discussion on this item?
I have discussion on this item.
Okay.
This is coming back. It's actually a reduced amount. We had a student there that left for a little bit, and they're back now. So it's just a reduced cost, and we've updated the MOU with the reduced cost.
Okay. Yeah.
What's up first?
First,
Ms. Bodge, call the roll, please.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Yes. Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Paul.
Yes.
That motion carries 4-0. Next, I would like to block E and F, and this is the FY27 Butler County ESC resolution for annual services, and the Butler County ESC MOU for the teacher of visually impaired students and O&M.
Is there a motion to approve E and F, the contracts as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Fall, I'm sorry, my computer's acting up. I'm trying to do two things at once. I'm not good at that. Ms. Bowers, you call the roll, please. Or is there any discussion on these items?
Did these go up?
They are up a little bit. These are annual contracts, and you're going to hear that repeated throughout the night. Everything is going up.
All right, Ms. Bowers, you call the roll, please.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Paul.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
That motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the Applied Behavioral Services contracts. I'd have a motion to approve those, please.
Is there a motion to approve the ABS contracts as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Fall, is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Barnes. Is there any discussion on these items?
I will share that this total package here will be an increased cost of about $50,000 this year. You might remember that we have a student that was just there for half a year. All 5 students will be there for a full year, but their rates have increased as well. Last year, a couple of the students, our rate was $75,000, and that has increased to $77,250, so about $22,50 for those 2 students. The other students, the contracts last year were $94,500. That's an increase up to $95,445, so less than $1,000 on that one. But again, common theme tonight, there is an increase for services.
These are for special needs.
Yes.
And there's nothing to negotiate. This is all just standard.
Yeah. I will tell you with these, Lindsay has worked with them and negotiated, and we aren't paying for the related services. The OT and speech, so we've kind of negotiated where we do get that without paying an added fee.
Is there any other discussion?
Is transportation included in this?
No, transportation is separate.
No. That's one thing I couldn't find reading through them.
Yeah, we contract with UTS, or we're trying to use Ever-Driven, but even their rates are going up, but we found that they were a lot cheaper than even UTS. But sometimes we will pay parents mileage if they transport them, if we can't get them there, but that's all added costs.
And then I couldn't tell, there was basically almost 2 categories for the monthly contracted rate. What is the cost and price difference in that service for
The
that month?
services, and again, these are all IEP driven, so their services are different.
Got it.
Ms. Dodge, you call roll.
Mr. Kevin Fall,
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft,
Yes.
and Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
That motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center Agreement.
Is there a motion to approve Cincinnati Children's Medical Agreement as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Fall. Is there any discussion on this item?
I can tell you that this is a 2nd grade student, medically fragile. We've had her at least since kindergarten. We don't pay on the days that she's not there, but again, it's,
So this is a one-on-one nurse that's
she's at the hospital, yes, yeah.
And that's why it's Cincinnati Children's?
Yes.
It's specialized?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ms. Bowers, you call the roll, please?
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
That motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the FY27 Data Serve IP System Renewal.
Is there a motion to approve the IP telephone system renewal as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Fall. Any discussion?
What is it? What exactly is this?
The whole phone system, I don't know if you remember years ago, we used to employ someone here that managed all the phone services, and now SWOCA actually does this for us.
So this is the entire district.
Yes.
Okay. It's the same company that also did the,
SWOCA, yes, our A site, they do a lot of things for us.
Ms. Bowers, you call the roll, please?
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall.
yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
That motion carries 4-0. Next, I would like to block J and K. This is FY27 parent square quote and the FY27 Raptor quote.
Is there a motion to approve the Parent Square and Raptor Technologies quotes as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Fall, is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Bowers. Is there any discussion on these items?
Is Raptor the only Like, is that what most all districts use?
I haven't heard of anything different.
They
Okay.
put it all in director.
Okay.
What actually is it?
Just quick ID, background check, swiping driver's license, does
Okay.
quick, scan of background. I don't know if it's FBI, sexual predators, Ohio, I'm not sure what BCI is checking, but it's a quick check. It's not like the ones that.
It's not maybe everyone like that
Right.
sent off their PCI, but yeah.
Just before we let people into the building.
If they're flagged as a.
So like if I would go and volunteer, I need to swipe that so that I come up with,
That's just kind of the building.
yeah, just to come in like to,
You're all familiar with Parent Square. We started that last year. More likely than not, I'll be coming back next month with a supplemental to this. There's something that they do with attendance. And I think we're looking to add that module on. We just have to get more information about it. So
it seems like more districts are going to Parent Square. Is it relatively new? I'm not sure. Because I've heard
New to
of,
us.
I mean, I've like heard of 2 or 3 other districts that have started using that.
I think it's great.
I mean, I like it, you know.
I think it's great.
I think that, I mean, I don't know all teachers, but I know my daughter uses it in Lakota, and I mean, the teachers seem to like it, so I don't know if,
Better to have a single platform than a bunch of different tools.
yeah.
Ms. Bowers, you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Paul,
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
That motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the FY27 Chartwell's contract renewal.
Is there a motion to approve the Chartwell's contract renewal as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Fall, is there any discussion on this item?
Yeah, I've got some. So when Chartwell's came in here a year ago, brought this to us, I was a little hesitant to bring Chartwell's on board because I've worked with outsiders, you know, contractors before, and sometimes it seems like there's difficulty in assimilating and figuring out a way to work together. Honestly, I kind of feel like that's where we're at right now. When they came in here a year ago, they made the promise to us that we were going to see $100,000 in savings, and made a comment that we would receive a check for $100,000, and I haven't seen that yet. Is there still discussion around the $100,000 savings from them?
We probably won't hear that until the end of the fiscal year. We're still.
Yes, they guaranteed us that. That was their guarantee that we would get that much money, whether they made it or not. That was their guarantee. That was in the contract.
I didn't see it in writing in the contract.
I'm pretty sure that's what they.
I thought it was in
yeah,
there.
Yeah, I think that was in the contract and RFP.
It's in their last one.
It's in the last one.
So, either way, so looking at the cost, it's about $40,000 a year to have this contract with them, and then it works out to be almost 8 cents per meal that's sold. Kind of going back to the original piece of this, we're spending about $40,000 a year. Let's say we get this $100,000 back, so we still are slightly positive. But I'm starting to question whether this is the right thing for the district for a lot of different reasons. And really, I kind of brought up, you know, I kind of feel like we've had to assimilate to their business model versus them assimilating to our district. And there's a lot of discussion that's been around this. We are bringing a business manager on next year. I think, you know, one of the reasons that this seems so attractive to us is that we wouldn't have to manage it, and at the time we didn't have the bandwidth. I question whether we really need to continue to do this. You know, it is an additional cost. I haven't seen that $100,000 yet, so that makes me a little nervous that we're not going to see that. It wasn't in the writing in the contract, so kind of fearful that we vote to approve this, we don't see any money back on it, and then we incur another cost that I don't necessarily think that we need to have. So that's just kind of my thoughts, you know, right now is I'm in a position where I would either like to look at doing this internal, or I would like to look at maybe tabling this and send it out for bid for another company to come in here and tell us what they could do. discussion?
I know never here before, I thought they had, and I don't recall, I don't have that in front of me, but they shared some of that analysis on what we could potentially save. And they did say it would take anywhere, they average 2 to 3 years to get to that point. So understanding it's been 1 year, where are we in that analysis? And if they said that from the get-go, you know, I did recall them saying this is pretty standard. It takes a couple of years to get acclimated. It takes everything to get going in to start realizing some of the savings. Plus, I hadn't read the previous contract over a year ago, but I don't recall any of the $100,000 payment or guarantee. I don't remember them talking about that when they presented it. But overall, it sounded like whether it be some sort of buying group or service, it may take a little bit to see that benefit, but once again, I'm coming into it here in X number of months. So.
We've been working through growth pains, and we started having meetings. We got another one tomorrow. We had one maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we brought Chartwell's management leadership in with our team. We met with our team individually, brought everybody together to have another meeting. Here's what we can't do. We can't buy as cheap as they can. We can't buy as cheap as they can. You know, it is more from scratch cooking as opposed to eat and serve, which I know some kitchens occasionally did more, maybe here at high school more so, but I you know, at the end of the day, and they've gone through this in a lot of different school districts. First year's the toughest. What we're going through here is not atypical for what they see in most districts. There's growing pains. There's a little bit of adjustments necessary. We are to the point where, you know, we're listening to our people and we're trying to get Chartwell's to find some middle ground. We like some of the things they're doing, but maybe it's too much. Maybe, like Mark said, maybe they need to come to us a little bit instead of us all coming to them. I think at the end of the day, they will work for us. I will be in that role next year where I will be more hands-on, where we didn't have anybody in that role. And we'll never buy food as cheap as they can. I feel like the meals we're putting in front of our kids are better, and the surveys and the feedback we get are better. I believe we will make more money, sell more meals at a lower cost. This year we had catastrophic calamity days, which crushed our meal sales. We had a lot of days here at the high school with scheduled things, which has hurt us, late arrivals. So it's kind of been the perfect storm. You know, I feel like they have a lot to offer, and 1 year would be like kicking them out after the most difficult time. They almost 100% of the time tell us that year 2 is better. Then year 3, people are like, how do we ever do without Chartwell's? That's what they're telling us. So I feel like we need to give them a shot. We'll be more hands-on. We're going to meet with our group, our team, have open lines of communication, make sure we're going through chain of command, involving the building leadership. Building principals need to have a say in how their kitchens, how their buildings operate. You know, our head cooks are meeting with Chartwell's now and us, and sharing ideas, sharing concerns, and they're going to listen to what we suggest, and we're going to listen to what they recommend. We're going to find middle ground, or we won't continue to work with them. But we'll never. The goal was to cut into that big deficit that we accrued over the years. We're only going to do that if we're lowering our costs and we're selling more meals. That's what it's going to take. So knowing that they can buy, they have such buying power, will never buy as cheap as they can, no matter if you have a business manager or what, EPC or anybody else. So my recommendation is to give them another year. We're going to work through it on our end to work through these bumps in the road, find the middle ground, listen to our people. We want our people to be happy, satisfied, not stressed out, not work to a frazzle. And I think we can do that. I think we can still put a good product. We can still give the kids a fair amount of choices, but they don't need, it's not the food court at the mall. They don't need 50 choices. We can find the middle ground. Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We want kids to get good meals that are legal compliant, and we want to make money. We want to sell products. We want to, turn a profit, because that's what we're trying to do, is recover this big deficit that we have to roll in out of the general fund and back in every year. And so we give them a try. I didn't think it was gonna be a 1-year deal. I would hope that we would, maybe year 2 might be the breakthrough year. That would be my hope.
Barring the issue you mentioned, and I know in lieu of this $100,000 supposed payment potentially, how have we chipped into that deficit?
Well, because of all the things we've talked about, we've had a good couple of months. I think we're going to end up to the good, but we were negative most of the year because of the snow days and because of our, just not enough sales. But the rebates are what help us. They get big rebates. So you meet with
Yeah.
I meet with Sarah regularly and go over the bills. Like this building here this month with all the testing and seniors getting out early and carnival. I mean, there were no sales. The middle school is selling more meals than the high school.
has been all year.
Yes.
I'm of the opinion, I would like to table this until we've got more data and see numbers, what we're gonna get off of this. Because I was led to believe by what they talked about that night, that we were gonna see a check for $100,000, and she's pulled it up and it says a guaranteed return of $100,000. I don't think that's a check of $100,000. I mean, the way that reads, maybe we're gonna see a savings, but I don't think we have that data yet, because listen to what you guys are saying right now. It
That
sounds
was my
like
understanding, that we would have $100,000 to be good in our food service. So we'll have to verify that.
Yeah, I would, until we get more information, and honestly, I'd really be curious to hear how this next meeting goes before we commit to another year.
The meeting tomorrow is to try to focus on things that we can do better next year, to be better on day one. The last meeting was just a lot of finger pointing and emotions and not productive, really. I mean, it's good that we get things out and we understand what we need to work on, but we gotta focus on what we can control moving forward, and that's how can we be better on day one than we were on day whatever this year. And that's the goal of the next meeting, is not to air our grievances against the other side, but to focus on what we control and be better on day one.
But at the end of the day, these are our cafeterias, right? So I think we're assimilating more to their business model than they are to our district.
Yeah, they definitely have a way of doing business. They have the Chartwell's way, and in most districts, it works great. And they sell a lot of meals and they make a lot of money. So we're having a little bit of a learning curve. I hope that we can.
So we would not have to
get
sign
past
on
it.
this contract till, because it says July 1st, 2026, so we do have time, but we could table it. Correct.
That's your choice.
June 29th is the meeting.
I would have recommended we did it 2 months ago and just committed to them and focused on the future instead of still hanging on and trying to the past. But that's my.
No, I mean, we're in this position for a reason, and we brought them in because we needed help to get out of it. I mean, it's a year contract, so it's not like we're signing 5 years. I think if we table it, it just shows we don't have any faith in the system, and I'd rather just do it for another year and then next year come back and see, all right, did you put your money where your mouth is? Because that's what we're looking for. If you want to make a motion to table it, then there's a second, then we can table it. I don't know if everybody wants to do that.
Where are you guys at?
I guess I feel like there's a part of me that says, they really do need to listen to our people's, what they feel and what they've seen works best for kids. And I understand that there is a conflict in the assimilating thing. But I also understand the part of it that, like, usually any time you change and start something new, it takes more than just a year. I mean, for it to work all the kinks out. And it is only a year. And, going in and knowing that we can not renew it in that next year. I mean, I see both sides. And I don't, I remember their presentation and I don't remember the word check being in it, but I thought it was like but they said we would just see a net positive. So there's a part of me that I understand where you're coming from, but there's also, I feel like we need to give it a shot, because if you just walk away after the first year, it just seems like you didn't try. Not that neither side's not trying, but it just seems like maybe, something broke down, but we do have you going to be hands-on to help negotiate that.
Definitely. I'm sure it'll be one of my big time commitments next year is to figure that out, make it work, or decide we're gonna punt. But at the end of the day, our kids are getting quality meals. They're compliant, they're healthy, they're good, they're fresh. And so, if you're thinking about what's best for kids, you never know. If you're thinking about a business model or employees, we gotta work through that, because I value our employees, and we want our employees to be satisfied, fulfilled, and again, we're listening to them, and Chartwell's will listen. Maybe we were 2 hands off this year because we didn't have anybody in that role. That will not be the case next year.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree necessarily what's best for kids. I think that's kind of subjective. And I did have lunch with a group of middle schoolers, and the feedback that I got from them is that some of the food is better and some of it's not. And just told put enough ketchup on the bread, it's not hard anymore, and you can actually eat it. So I do think, and I agree, I think some of the food is probably a lot better than what we've had before, but I don't know that all of it is. So like I said, I think it's just a matter of opinion. So whether I support it or not doesn't necessarily mean that I don't care what's best for kids, because I absolutely do.
That to me, I believe the product they're putting is a healthy, and you're right, they did have some learning curves at the middle school versus batch cooking versus cooking too much up front, and the heat lamps and putting things out. And again, Chartwell's has to listen, because Doug was making some recommendations on how to prevent that. And they didn't want to wrap the sandwiches, which would protect the bread. They wanted the eye appeal, but the eye appeal and the taste was. So I think we worked through that, and it probably took longer than it should have. That's where I'm going to be involved, and those things aren't going to take so long in the future. But that's up to the board. Like I said, I'm not a food service expert. I've never managed food service, but I can solve problems, and I work with people to get solutions. But I'm not going to be as good on day one as what Chartwell's is going to be in terms of the business side of food and ordering and free and reduced and federal guidelines and what's got to go on the menu, because of you got to have the right proportion of this, and this to meet the food pyramids and all that. And that's probably where we get in trouble, is because again, schools are trying to be jack of all trades, and really what we're good at is educating kids, teaching kids. That's up to the board. I know it's been a tough year with that, and we want it to be a better year. No one wants to be better than I do.
I think we all care about kids. I think our folks that work in the cafeterias care about kids too. And to your point, I don't think this is beyond repair, but I also think it's took entirely too long to figure all this stuff out. A full year trying to decide whether we wrap a sandwich or not seems like that's a pretty slow process, right? So
I think they got that resolved a long time ago, the sandwich issue.
Shouldn't have took that long though.
It should have.
And we've had some conversations about some of the different bean garbanzo salads and different things like that, and just is that really age appropriate? I don't know, but it just seems to me like this took a lot longer to get to this point than it probably should have. What's your thoughts, Kevin?
And I thought a lot of the issues you alluded to were heading in the right direction. So unless I'm hearing otherwise, I'm looking at it from the financial perspective, is it making the improvements that it initially let out to do a year ago? And is it headed down that path? And I did hear it was not.
I don't think we know that though. That's part of the concern thing.
And that's why I'm asking, are we going to know that in another year, or is it another month, or is it?
Well, I don't think we have the results of the first full year yet, right? Is that what I'm hearing? We won't know.
Right.
So we're being asked to vote on a contract that was guaranteed to deliver, and we don't know if it's delivered yet.
when it was discussed a year ago, was it kind of that understanding that it would be that, you know, I know it's a yearly contract, but that 2 to 3 years, I keep hearing it come up since I've been involved.
I don't recall that discussion. I don't remember this being,
I don't think that they talked about the learning curve that a lot of districts go through, and the fact that, it was a difficult process, and, but as we've met, what we're hearing is, what we're going through is not be typical, and year 2 is always better, and that, you know, it just takes time. It's a lot of changes, a lot of changes that are being asked, and some of them aren't necessarily, you know, that's where we gotta sit down, we gotta meet, we gotta talk, we gotta discuss, we gotta find middle ground. And I think we can do that. I think we can do that.
To me also, we have someone to hold accountable for that as such. The other thing for me is that what's the alternative?
I think we've got some other options.
Do we go back to what we were doing? And I wasn't involved in that decision a year ago when they decided to go this route, right? So what were those criteria, pros, cons, all those scenarios for getting to that point? But so to me, it's one of those where, you know, yeah, we can switch out for a different food service company. What is the Chartwell's 2.0 or the next one versus go back?
Probably not have enough time to go through the whole RFP process at this point in the year. That takes a long time.
Or to revert back to what we were doing before, which obviously there was something, for some reason, that you chose to go with Chartwell's to begin with at that time. So I'm just trying to catch up on that from what I've heard.
But I think the incentive to go to them in the first place was because we had cut the district so deep, we didn't have anybody to manage food service, and this comes with built-in management, and that was what made it attractive to us.
And a $500,000 deficit.
And guaranteed $100,000
To the positive.
to the positive.
So that's kind of that unknown at this time, what
That's
you're alluding to.
Right.
I think if we don't approve this contract, we're gonna put Curtis in a real hard spot to find somebody to run the food service, get it up and running again, back, without a company. I think, my opinion is give them a second year. We look at it in January and give him the direction, listen, we want a report in January, what's this look like? And then we have the correct amount of time to come back and evaluate it and see okay, did they, give the $100,000 and get that? Is it to the positive? How's it going the second year? Because we should know by then. And if it doesn't work, then he has time to come up with a different plan. I don't think we have the time to come up with a different plan. Our next meeting is not until June 29th.
I had to run ads in the paper and everything, issue public notices, file stuff with the
There's
state.
dates, you have so many days before, then you got so many days when they reviewed, and they got so many days when they have to visit. It's a pretty drawn out process. We could do something like we did the year before, like with the EPC, we could do it internally. But again, I'm not a food service person. We would have to hire somebody to be our food service consultant.
So we did bring this up back in the fall and asked to kind of get some updates. And remember, we started talking about this right before Christmas. It was right before y'all got on the board, and was hoping that we would have a lot of this stuff worked out. Cause I really kind of hoped that at this point in the year, we would all be on the same page and moving in the same direction. And it kind of feels like, we're, what was it, 1st of May, several weeks ago, we had that first meeting, and we kind of talked about a lot of finger pointing, and I just kind of feel like that probably should have been worked out a lot sooner. Like I said, I have not felt like this has been a real flexible process, and it bothers me. I had a lot of hesitation in the very beginning. We've got a lot of kids that this is where they come to eat, and I don't know that we're doing it the Edgewood way, I guess is what I'm saying. So I'm kind of hesitant on giving them another year until I see what the results of this current contract is.
So Mark, when they came and gave their presentations, and like you said, the one right through the beginning of the year when I started getting up to speed, I know you put a lot of time and equity, sweat equity into figuring out and feedback from students and everybody. when they get presented, you can kind of feel a little bit of that tension, with her name's Sarah, and I can't remember the gentleman that came with her. They went through their whole presentation. And then I didn't know we were gonna have, a meeting to meet with, all sides and all pieces. But, so from a lot of those things, like you said, even the garbanzo bean salad and some of the surveys that came back with read, I kind of felt like since then, and I haven't heard otherwise, that a lot of those were moving in the correct direction. But your hesitation is telling me, or have heard otherwise, that that's not going the direct.
Well, I guess you put it in perspective, you had a graduation party this weekend, it was a great graduation party, the food was awesome, and if you would have hired me to come in and do the food, I would have done it exactly the way that you wanted me to do that, and I just don't feel like that's where we're at with this contract at this time.
Well, if we wanted them to do exactly how we were doing, why did we hire them?
Well, we hired them to manage it because of the buying power that they have, and it was a guaranteed savings in that aspect. But like I said, we're a year into this, and we're still trying to get on the same page. Did we want to was it our intent to give up full control over our kitchens?
That's kind of what they do.
It's up to him. If you guys want to vote, we can vote.
The question I have is I hear a lot about the management on their side. Are we getting the same manager that we currently, would we be getting the same manager next year that we currently have this year? Or do we have the right to ask or request a different one?
I would say we do, that we would have that right. We're paying the bill, that they work for us. So if we said we'll renew you with a different manager, but I don't know that, I know that's part of the issue. I don't know if that's 100% of the issue. This person, is training and gone through their program, and they're being supervised, and they brought a lot of people in. So, but if that's always a possibility, if that's where the issue lies, then that's something we could address with them. I'm not sure that, again, it might be a little premature to say we want a new manager because there's a learning curve.
I just didn't know if it was more management or.
A little bit of both. A little bit of both.
What do we do? We need to decide. If we table it until June 29th, that's pretty close.
Well, if we table it till June 29th, we either have two options. Either we go through EPC or we try to do it in-house. Because Charlotte's probably wouldn't be an option at that point, right? Well, I guess that gives us a third option. We could still renew their contract, but you're not bringing anybody else in here if we wait. To Curtis's point, I think we probably should have this conversation 2 months ago.
Is anybody else interested in tabling it?
Well, and that's where I'm learning, just because I thought after all that presentation before and kind of hearing that the meetings were going on, I hadn't heard how they were going, but I've heard they were going on. I thought it was.
We want to have one, right?
Well, we've met with our people, and we've met with them, and we've met together, and then we're going to meet again tomorrow, just as a follow-up to the meeting the other day. Again, they spend more time than in the kitchens with people and their teams, and as a group, we've only had those meetings as of recently. And we're going to continue those. We're going to keep that as kind of an ongoing thing because we see some value in it, and again, try to be a little more hands-on. We don't want our people to not feel like they're supported and have a voice through us. And again, I think it's chain of command too. There's a chain of command, and the one party that I feel like should left out is the building principals, and I'm going to include them moving forward because they need to understand how their buildings operate.
Maybe we can't have another year next year if year 2 is no different.
I tend to believe it'll be better. It takes time, and they say what they're going through is not atypical, and they can give examples of other staffs and kitchens and everything we've gone through is not atypical, and year two's better, and like I said, year three, people say, how do we ever do without them? You know, we're a long way from there, but you know,
So that was the information I had received and heard just from the presentation from the board meeting that came to us.
some of our kitchens are more, you know, maybe they're the easier kitchens and smaller meal counts, and embraced it. And they think it's
So at that point, I was prepared to at least give them another year. If we're sitting in this boat even in 6 months from now. So yes, until I heard some of your concern tonight from hearing some information that we hadn't been making improvement, I was feeling like the information I was getting, we were making improvement.
I don't know if we've made improvement, but I don't feel like it's came as quickly as it should have.
What's that now?
I don't know if we've made improvement or not, but I don't feel like the improvements have come as quickly as I would have expected.
Yeah, that's fair. I like to think we're headed in the right direction. I feel like, again, I think we're putting a good product, a healthy product. I feel like our costs are lower, our meals are better, and I think we're gonna chip away at this deficit, and we just got to do so. I don't want, like I said, we don't want our people stressed out and upset and crying, taking personal days because they're stressed over their jobs and this and that. We don't want that. That's not what we want. And, you know, if Chartwell's is not, their manager is not willing to listen, you know, I am, and I represent them, and I'll go to bat for them with Chartwell's. And if it means give us another person to head it up, that's what we'll ask for and we'll demand. But at the end of the day, like I said, I wasn't a part of why we got into this in the first place. I was over in the middle school. I know what I was dealing with in the middle school. You know, it's gotten better with our current team over there, but it was pretty bad for most of my years over there. It was pretty bad.
I'm fine with giving her another year to see all those questions.
Okay.
I'm fine. I was just sitting here listening to all this, and it just kind of reminds me of like when you teach, and they throw at you a new curriculum. You do that new curriculum that first year, and you are so, I can't do this. I can't do this. This is not how we always did it. Who do I go to? Who do I go to? And it truly does take growing pains. And there are times when I know for me personally, there was a curriculum that I never did really truly embrace it. And I didn't teach it with fidelity. And there were times when I could tell I wasn't teaching it with fidelity. So I really do feel like they need a second year. However, I think, you know, going in, they need to know they're going to be scrutinized more than ever than what they were the year before. And that, you know, and I'm just saying, if I knew that I had someone who was willing to go to bat for me and my team, that would make my job, that would give me so much relief. Because like the classroom teacher, that first year, we had nobody, and finally the people listened and they gave us like a go-to person in our building who really, you know, helped. But I think that, you know, everybody needs to know that you will step in and that you're not going to allow them to, you know, disregard our, you know, our people's feelings.
I anticipate that's where a lot of my time is going to be spent next year.
And so I'm good with giving them a second year, but I do think they need to show that when a problem does come up, resolving it in the quickest fashion that they can that benefits everybody. So that's what I think. Well, you want to call the roll?
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt,
No.
Mr. Kevin Bolt,
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft,
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes,
Yes.
motion carries 3-0. Or 3-1, I'm sorry. The next agenda item is the FY27 property liability and cyber insurance.
Is there a motion to approve the property liability and cyber insurance renewal as presented?
So
Mr. Fall, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Messerschmidt.
Did we just do this?
Every year.
Is there any discussion on this item? I know Mr. Fall had a couple questions, right? Are you good with it?
Yeah, I was going through it quite a bit. It's an odd thing of mine to be interested in insurance for some reason. I don't know if it's the farm or if it's the what, but the only thing I question, and you answered that, is they did different surveys. It just was odd to me how we had seems like a substantially larger number of employees in their analysis compared to what was being covered before. But I mean, it's not inaccurate. I just didn't know where they got their number from last year from the different company on those number of employees. But is this in line with what the cost has been in years past? Obviously, insurance is going up every year.
Yes, and it has gone up every year. In fact, this policy here is $37,000 more than what it was last year. But again, you saw tonight, we just put in another purchase order for $40,000 for fuel. That's what we're gonna wind up being short this year, what we projected at the beginning of the year, so everything.
But I will say also in reviewing this, that it was pretty standard that the liabilities went literally from like, on a number of these items from $500,000 to $5 million coverage. So if you go down through, I mean, I know for some of my stuff, I have probably $2 million of liability just because it's being involved in the way the world is. So I was much more impressed. I understand it was, $30-some thousand more, but the coverage and the liability coverage on all the items was substantially more than what it showed we had last year.
Yeah. And again, this is through EPC, so they go out and bid for us and get us the very best they can. They've done a great job with segregating our flood as well over the primary. So we've had a couple things this year that they've had to step in and help out.
And that's what I specifically looked at, because I wanted to see what that difference would be, and it was substantially better coverage for, that money. So I mean, not saying I want costs to go up, but at least this time it seemed like when you compared line item by line item, they gave you a lot more coverage.
Yeah. We also get rebates from them as we purchase. We use EPC like for our medical insurance. I just tell you right now, that's getting ready to go up to 6.5% as well. Our loss ratio was 104.5%. If it would have been 104.9, we would have been 7.5% on the increase. So everything is going up. But we do get rebates. Anything we do through EPC, we do get rebates.
Is there any more discussion? Ms. Bowers, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fall?
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes? Yes. That motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the FY27 Sinclair Community College MOU.
Is there a motion to approve the MOU with Sinclair Community College on CCP as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Fall. Is there any discussion on this item?
Two.
Go ahead.
We do quite a few different CCP offerings, correct? Why is this the only one that's up right now, or?
Doug emailed this to me and asked me to get it to the board. Don't know if we'll have it.
Yeah, we'll have Cincinnati State, Miami. We're still kind of negotiating with Miami. We're trying to negotiate a county rate. So I've been higher than Cincinnati State and Sinclair. So we're trying to reduce that rate.
Do we have that a certain number of students in those classes for them to come in?
They go out.
Or to go, they must go out there?
Thank you.
Ms. Bowers, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall?
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes?
Yes.
That motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the NRG agreement.
Is there a motion to approve the NRG agreement as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Fall, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there discussion on this item?
I would like to share that we also get rebates from NRG. Basically, what we do is we draw back on energy at certain times. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, PJM, it's Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maine. So like as they're drawing more energy, there are times that we will have to draw our energy back. There's no consequence if you don't, you just don't get the monies back. But I have pulled, I got a few up here just so I can tell you what this looks like. The most recent ones that we just got back in January from conserving over the winter months was $19,157. The draw before that was only $31.58. So it just depends. There's no harm in doing this. It's just giving us money that if we draw back when they ask us to, we get a little bonus check.
So basically, they're just, it's almost like the local ones they do, where if you pull back, you get a little rebate because they're using that elsewhere on the grid.
Yes.
They have that demand at different
Yes.
times on their grid.
Yeah.
Ms. Bowers, you call roll, please.
Mr. Kevin Paul.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
And Mrs. Lori Lawrence.
Yes.
That motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the Easy Flex quote. If I could have a motion to approve that, please.
Is there a motion to approve the Easy Flex quote as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Barnes, is there any discussion on this item?
I have something.
Okay.
This is mats for cheer, and these were damaged in that flood. So we need to get their mats replaced so they can do this, but we will turn it over.
So this has been paid for by insurance and not by general fund?
Well, we're paying for it, but we'll get it back.
Okay.
Ms. Bowers, you call the roll, please.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Paul.
Yes.
That motion carries 4-0. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the Robinson fence quote as presented.
Is there a motion to approve the Robinson fence quote as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Fall, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Messerschmidt, any discussion?
Is this to replace existing fence?
No, it's a new fence. It's a grant that we got last year. We were gonna originally install big swing gates. Now it's an intermediate back that driveway around the building. They just run little chains across when the kids are out there in the playground. And Molly's always felt like that was a safety concern. We were gonna put big swing gates, but then swing gates would lose all the parking spaces because they got a swing. And it's a big span. So we've met with different vendors. Robinson came up with the idea of these big roll gates. And we're gonna literally, put chain link so that in addition to the roll gates, we'll have chain link again, because right now, even though we got chain link fence from poles across the driveways, that it's not fenced in, you can just go off the ground and drive right into the playground. So we're basically creating a safety barrier around our playgrounds to discourage any vehicle from going in there or any kid from leaving that safe space. Sure. It was fully funded by a safety grant.
Okay, so everything, this quote came within the amount that the grant was for?
It's actually less than the grant.
Wasn't the grant like 40,000?
It was
Yeah,
40,000.
That's what I thought.
And part of this is actually gonna be to put the playground in for, or not the playground, but the fencing area for Head Start.
Okay.
For Head Start, we might be able to include some else for, I don't know, we're gonna mulch that, it may just be grass, but we might key it, we'll spend the whole amount, but this is also for Head Start's, playground.
Ms. Bowers, you call the roll, please.
Mr. Kevin Paul.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes. Yes. Motion carries 4-0. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the Aqualis Group Cooperative Purchasing Program Resolution.
Is there a motion to approve the Aqualis resolution as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Fall, is there a second? Mr. Messerschmidt, is there any discussion on this item?
I can share with you that I've asked to join us, because we have been working with Weibel, just like we're part of the EPC and get products and services from them. UPC, this is another purchasing group. We've done a lot of work with Weibel, and they've always seemed to come in under what they bid and doing quality work for us. The project that we need done, the scope it's huge. And we need to be able to work with Weibel, but we need to join the co-op in order to do that.
And that prevents you from having to go out for bid, because you have to have multiple engineers spec this out. We did get multiple bids, but the purchasing group ensures you're getting,
The best.
basically they're bidding it out, they're bidding these positions out, so we don't have to put out an RFP, the purchasing cooperative does that for you.
And there's no cost to the district because normally they join into those to get.
There's no cost in the front end, they get a percentage of the job.
2%, yeah, through Weibel.
So what kind of contracts are we talking about? Because I don't really see like examples of contracts.
So we have some of those right after this, that if you agree to be part of this group, then I'm gonna be asking you to approve the contracts that follow this.
But this purchasing cooperative, like, we may be like high school furniture, desks, furniture, supplies, computers. There are a lot of things that this cooperative just gives us another place to shop products that is
Without going out
now,
bid.
because they got, again, buying power, dealing with a lot of schools, it's government and school agencies, so you get better pricing through these purchasing cooperatives than you would out on your own. So it'll just give us another source. And I went through all of their vendors that they use, and it's a lot. So it's a good company to be a part of.
So the name of the co-op is Equalis, but the contracts are Weibel?
Weibel.
Yes.
So if you go out onto
Looks like
Equality.
EPC.
That's like buying a
the
school bus through
insurances.
EPC.
I got you. I didn't realize it.
We're talking about that too.
Alright, I got you.
It's like EPC, but it's Southwestern Insurance. So it's Equalis, but the contractor we're using for this is Weibel.
I got you.
Is there any more discussion? Mrs. Bowers, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Paul,
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt, Mrs. Amy Ashcraft,
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Next, I'm presenting to you 4 Weibel contracts. This is for work at the geothermal here at the high school. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve those, please.
Is there a motion to approve the 4 Weibel contracts as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Fall, is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Barnes. Is there any discussion on the side of these items?
I know we knew this was gonna be a pretty substantial cost to get those repaired, but if I did my rough math right, it was looking better than what we had initially expected. Is that correct?
I mean, it's right what we thought it would be. We could have done this in pieces, again, but then we would have, like right now, the system's probably at 40% capacity. We were lucky that we had cool weather for graduation. We were able to crank that gym down nice and cool. But we had to close down all the other buildings to force everything there. So there's like 5 different modules in the system, and 3 of the 5 are down or not 100%. Module 1's completely down. That's where the bulk of your heating and cooling comes from. It's both compressors and both heat exchangers are out. Module 2's got a compressor and a heat exchanger. There's different, that's why it's 4 different bids. We thought we might do it in chunks as opposed to one, fixing the whole thing at one time. But I think there's gonna be savings in that they're gonna be out here at the same time. They're going to have to do rigging one time. They're gonna do all their ordering, and there's price increases. We just caught a little bit of a price increase, so it's likely to go up every year. So the 4 bids total will basically repair that system back to original quality. We had 2 different engineers go into it. It was installed in 2012, so those things last about 20 years. So we're getting close to the end of life, but the way they work is the early modules carry the load, the later modules kick in upon demand.
That's why all three of the 4 were on bank 1.
Right. So replacing those early modules, which we're replacing all, and we're also, part of this is also a preventative maintenance agreement moving forward, because I think that was part of our problem early on. We kind of got behind on some of the preventative maintenance. So we're hoping we can get another 5 to 10 years out of this geothermal, but in the next 5 to 10 years, thinking about a full-on replacement. I think back in 2021, we had an engineer come in and bid that out, and I think if you adjust for inflation, you're talking just a shy of less than $2 million to replace the system here. So what we're paying to get this system back up to capacity, and if we can get 5 to 10, that's money well spent. But we have to be mindful that at some point the system's going to have to be replaced, and it may not make sense to go back with another geothermal.
And those will come out of the fund from the high school.
The 34,
The 34 fund.
I actually met with them this morning to confirm that we could use that 034 fund for this.
Okay.
So you said it'll take it back to near 100% or back to 100%. Does that mean that the 20-year life cycle starts over again, or does that mean it's back to 100% for 6 years?
Well, we're replacing compressors and heat exchangers. A lot of the parts inside of these modules, especially module 1, will be new, but they're still 14-year-old modules. The new modules don't even fit in the same footprint. They're not plumbed the same way. They wouldn't even fit in our room. We couldn't replace the modules, so they have to literally gut the module, pull out the guts of it, rig it out, and put it back in. So it's kind of like rebuilding a bus. You're doing the engine and transmission, but there's still other things that could go wrong. But Weibel's pretty confident with preventative maintenance that this system will last us. It lasts us this long, 14 years, with, even though it went down in phases, and it's barely functional now, but we got through the year, we got through graduation, so we're optimistic that it'll get us, it's not warranted for 5 years. The warranties a year, but we're optimistic with this company and the preventative maintenance that we won't be spending that $2 million anytime soon.
Probably need to start putting together a plan to slowly replace it, maybe replace it in pieces, and
because you may be knocking out walls, tearing off roofs, or if we go to a different system like just a chiller system, outside units or whatever. That's probably what Donnie's recommending. That's what he had engineered back in 2021, but we can't afford it right now.
okay.
We had 2 companies bid it, 2 quality companies. They're not locals. One was Alpha out of Louisville, Kentucky, and they did the boiler for us. And they also sent an engineer in here. We had Weibel come in and send an engineer in here. They took the thing apart. Their bids were so identical. It was kind of crazy that both, and the costs were very similar. But Weibel does a not to exceed, and they always come in less. And because Patty said we were able to pull it off in one chunk instead of doing it out over years, that will not only save inflation, but I'd almost bet that they'll come in less than what their bid is. They're pretty efficient. They were able to do those units at the primary school, and they gave us a pretty high bid. They came in like a third of what they bid. So this one's a little tougher, bigger job, but that's why we want to hire.
Well, not too often do you get any kind of contracts that labor is only a fourth of the expense. So there's some expensive components and pieces probably.
And Arctic Chill is proprietary. It's owned by Trane, so you're dealing with Trane, so you're paying Trane prices. They even got the compressors from a vendor other than Trane, because the compressors are not proprietary. So it's the same compressor as a Trane compressor, different badging, but heat exchangers and some of the other parts they have to buy through Trane. And the new Arctic Chill modules don't. They're totally different footprint, different pumping, different sizes. So because we had a price out switching out the whole modules, couldn't do it.
Is there any other discussion? Mrs. Bowers, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes?
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt?
Yes.
That carries 4-0. The next agenda item is the Rush bus quote.
Is there a motion to approve the brush bus quote as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Fall. Is there any discussion on this?
I have some discussion. You may remember I asked you to pass a resolution. Mrs. Ashcraft was adamant, this is not locking us in, but we could at least start the process. Talk to Jim O'Brien, and we have to make a decision by May 31st if we're gonna get something, and I want to share with you, be it one or two, and I'm not sure that we can get two. I know that we can get one right now. The cost from last year to this year has increased on this 72 passenger stop bus, $15,007. But I would like to at least get one bus, if we can do that, please.
I think my first year on the board, when we voted to buy new buses, I think they were in the $90,000 range, so they're significantly compared to where they were.
Now, the state did mandate that they have to have some LED lighting on them, so that's a little bit of the reason for the increase. But the total cost of this stop 72 passenger bus, that's comparable to what we bought last year, is $15,007 more. And you may recall that we disposed of a couple buses, so, our spares are going away.
Try to find what costs are due every year.
Yes, if I could at least get one. I know Ms. Ashcraft, you said, can we afford this? And we can't afford everything that, but I feel like we need a bus, at least one.
How far are we behind? I'm sure there's a replacement schedule for those.
Well, we got, 2 last year. We got a special needs bus and a regular needs bus. There was one year that I was here and we didn't get anything. And then another year it was like a buy two, get two. I wouldn't say that we're behind, but we don't wanna this would leave us one bus behind. We don't wanna get behind on our buses. If we're gonna transport, we need to keep rotating our fleet.
So are we voting to buy one, or are we voting to buy two?
I'm asking you if you would let me at least buy one, but if you will approve two, we would double this, and it would come out of the PI fund.
How much money's in there right now?
$3 million.
Do we have any other large,
Well, we have some roofing
purchases?
things that we're gonna be working on.
Right, I remember we talked about that.
I tried to reserve this fund. You don't know when the roofs are gonna start pouring water. You don't know when the geothermal is gonna go out. You can't sit on this and let other things.
Patty, these buses are at $40,000 in 4 years. I mean, if we put it off another year, it's gonna cost you more money. So I think you stay on track, and we'll get to the point where we can't afford it, then we stop buying. But right now, I think it's gonna cost us more to wait than it's gonna cost us to do it now.
Because this is one of these ones that's negotiated, but it's only good till May 31st.
Yes,
And then
the EPC
they have to
puts these out for
renegotiate.
bid, yes, and they give us a list of vendors we can work with. It has been Shane's preference to work with Rush. They've done good by us.
So do we need to amend the motion to do two? Or?
No, we passed a resolution
Oh, we
by
did.
up to two, and I'm just asking you to approve this quote. If you tell me I can get two, I will call tomorrow and we'll get the ball rolling. If you tell me I can only get one, we'll do that. I wanted to point out how quickly these costs are increasing.
I think I know the answer, but over the years past, whenever we've tried to adhere to this replacement schedule, it's not like there's usually a large decrease in the cost of this bus. So I'm kind of with Mark at that point. you almost gotta kind of keep up with your replacement schedule, because that's kind of how we got to that boat with some of the roofs or, you know, whatnot. Even the geothermal, like you said, we did keep up with some of that maintenance, so in the long run, you end up hopefully saving more money than losing by having to catch them up.
I mean, nothing else we've approved tonight has been PI ready. We've had grants, we've had 034, we've had, is that right?
I think you're right.
And then we've had general for the service contract for special needs. So it's not like we've approved the whole big chunk of stuff before that.
Right.
I'm okay to do two.
I think we should do two.
Alright, will you call the roll, please?
Thank you very much. Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fole.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Lawrence.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item is donations. I'd like to have a motion to approve those as presented, please.
Is there a motion to approve the donations as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Fall, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Messerschmidt. Is there any discussion on this? No, this is from the PTO to all 4 schools, not the high school, because they don't cover high school.
Correct.
It's all very generous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there 2 donations
Yes,
at intermediate school? Because it shows 2,
Supposed to be
or is
Edgewood
it just a
Middle.
typo?
It is. It's intermediate, primary, early childhood, and the middle school.
Okay, so one of the,
Yeah, the top one should be middle school.
alright, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fole.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Lawrence.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. The next agenda item, this is actually something that Mr. Messerschmidt brought to my attention. Someone had shared with him something that was out on our board docs back in 2020. And it was a snippet of then and now purchase orders, and there was something on there for the Butler County Sheriff's Office, and out in a little box where it had the fund, it said food service. I would put 2 attachments on there. Again, I wasn't here in 2020. I can tell you this information just comes off of a spreadsheet that's kept in the accounts payable office that they type these on, and it truly was just a typo. Mark asked that I bring that to your attention, but I did pull that purchase order, so you can look and see exactly what was paid, and the SRO contract came out of general fund with the exception of that $30,000 line. You hear me talk often about grants that we get, and that was a state grant toward that, and the rest of that contract was paid with general fund. We wanted to get that on record. I can't go back and change something in history, but we at least wanted to acknowledge that that Butler County Sheriff's contract was not paid for out of food service.
I appreciate you doing that. I mean, none of us, well, Amy was the one on the stage, it was here back then, but certainly there was a mistake people identified, and I think it's important to correct the record, even if it's 6 years later. So
Thanks for throwing that under the bus.
I can say, you made the mistake.
Yeah, at least it's a new bus, huh?
Right.
So we don't need to do anything on that one, it's just
Well-
informational.
If you want to acknowledge that you've seen this, but again, I've given you the purchase order so you can see that there was nothing charged to food service. That literally was a typo.
Okay.
You want to vote and acknowledge that you've seen this. Again, I can't go back and correct the
Right.
errors.
And the auditor already reviewed it and verified it was correct as well, right?
Yeah, we've been through however many audits and stuff.
And they really scrutinized food service because it's federal funds. So
Right.
it would be, I'm not gonna say you couldn't get away with something like that, but it would be very hard to get away with something like that.
I don't think we need to vote on it, I think it's out
Okay.
there, so. Are you more comfortable if we vote on it?
Doesn't matter to me, whatever you guys are comfortable with.
You've brought it up, I mean,
I'm fine either way.
okay, alright, we'll just leave it like it is and just know that we acknowledge it and it's right.
Okay,
Is there any informational items from you tonight?
I think I've taken up enough time. Thank you.
All right, next superintendent items.
Okay, the first item are just the board policies. This was our January update through Neola. You had a couple of, I guess a month or so to look at these. These just reflect changes in federal and state laws to be compliant. Pretty boilerplate policies on here. There's changes to board policies as well as administrative guidelines.
Is there a motion to approve the board policies as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Barnes. Is there any discussion on these items?
What, I read through it, but what was the biggest difference on use of credit cards? Were they scrutinizing more on the?
On what now?
The use of credit cards?
The credit card procurement.
My goodness, spending, I can't see this.
Because when I read through it, I didn't see like I didn't know if there was an issue or they just recognized it was some wording or.
Some of it had to do with the changes to the loyalty, like you're allowed, they changed the law about using the rewards.
Okay.
So I think that a lot of it had to do with
Like,
the.
you used to not be able to use a credit card for the points, and that did change.
Yeah.
I am going to be coming back, and asking for a couple changes on this credit card policy in the next month. I have a meeting with my team later in the month, and there's some language in here that one thing, for example, is I asked for people to return credit cards to me the next business day. I don't want them carrying them in their pockets. We've had incidences where people have accidentally swiped the wrong card, stored their card, so I asked for those cards to be returned the next business day. Our policy does not reflect that. That is one change that I'm gonna be bringing back. I don't want anybody holding a credit card for 30 days. So a couple more things like that we've started to identify, and I'll be working with Neola. But that policy will be coming back for that reason.
Any further discussion? Mrs. Bowers, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Boad.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
The next item is the updated Edgewood Athletic Department Student Parent Handbook, the extracurricular handbook that was previously reviewed to be approved with this meeting.
Is there a motion to approve the extracurricular handbook as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second, Mr. Fall?
Second.
Mr. Messerschmidt?
And like, you'll be approving the substantive part of the handbook, like it still has me as superintendent, so we'll change that effective at the beginning of the year. We'll bring it back for you for review. But all the changes were in red. I think Scotty might still be here. Any specific questions?
All the changes were in red, but, and maybe it's minor, but it says athletic department. I know the title on the other one said extracurricular.
He's the
So-
extracurricular director now, we gotta change his
Well,
title.
not that, just Edgewood Athletic Department, but it encompasses all the extra. So I don't know if that matters on that front page, if it would say Edgewood Extracurricular Handbook.
Yeah, probably should.
I thought that was just me being nitpicky.
Words matter, right?
Yeah.
Yep. It just says student parent handbook, it's athletic department, the student parent handbook, so we should probably include the word extracurricular just so it encompasses all the extracurriculars.
Yeah.
I would say that's a change similar to the name, to make that.
I do have a question, and maybe Scott can answer this, or I don't know. But, you know, the GPA is a 1.5. That's like a D, right?
It's higher
I
than the
mean-
state.
But see, I think it should be at least a 2.0. I really do. I don't know if that's just me having, I don't know.
The state of Ohio changes a lot with that. They just say you gotta be passing 5 full credit classes. So the OHSA just says 5 passing classes, which could be all B's.
That just bugs me.
It's always about the thing, do we have athletes that succeed that GPA? Absolutely. Do we have some of those that are just barely making it. Yeah, and they graduated, but, so yeah, we are swinging here sometimes with sports are keeping those, or choirs, or band, or something's keeping that kid at least engaged enough to get that 1.5 and graduate. Is it low? Yeah, through the county, a lot of schools are just went to the straight OHSA, so it's easy on counselors and ADs that pay.
Oh, I mean, that's fine.
You're right, but I mean, does that make,
That's fine.
I don't know that. Bellbrook does have a 2.0, and if you go below that, you go what they call like a
Study tables.
you go to a study table kind of session, you gotta get it back up. If you go underneath that, so I mean, David's the only one in the league I got that had something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most of our teams are well above.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, David's got
Right,
15
no, I
years.
know,
Yeah.
I mean, I realize that, but, I mean, I do
Well,
understand that.
we do have maybe 5% of our total athletes that 1.5 has kept them.
You don't have to convince me, I mean, I'm letting it go, I'm not gonna hang on to that bone, I mean,
I
yeah.
mean, I like to do the 1.0 obviously.
When you said that the signing day we just had a week or so ago, I think you told me this, that the average GPA was like 3.
That was in my report.
All right, forget I
Yeah,
scratched
I'm
that
trying
from
to
the
take
record.
any words, that's what I'm saying a lot right now, I don't want to take away from her.
Told me it was very high.
Yes, it was. So I'm gonna take away Amy's glory here.
That's all right, just go ahead and do my report for me.
She said I couldn't talk about FFA, you didn't say anything about that.
Well, I didn't think you were gonna talk about student achievement, that's
All
my
right, sorry
area.
about that.
Okay, no, I'm good.
Is there any other discussion? Mrs. Bauer, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Paul.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
The next two items, they don't require a vote. You got items C, middle school, high school, secondary student handbook, just for a first read. Again, most of these are just Neola recommended changes. You'll see those highlighted in red, new policies that have to be incorporated into your student handbook. And then you've also got the elementary student handbook, again, for a first read. We'll approve those in June. Item E is the 27-28 school calendar that was recently adopted through the procedure set forth in the collective bargaining agreement. Final calendar for the 27-28 school year.
Is there a motion to approve the 27-28 school calendar as presented?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mrs. Barnes? Is there any discussion on this item? It's gonna look as it's much different than this year.
It does, very, very similar.
I do recall we wanted to include, there was something, and I don't know if it's here with the calendar approval, that if there were snow or calamity days, that we had a built-in.
We will be doing that either in June or July. We will approve, we'll pass a resolution to have so many remote days, i.e. blizzard bags. If you do that before August and you go over your calamity days, then you can make up days remotely. We were not able to do that because you have to adopt policy before the 1st of August, so that'll be on the agenda. I've already emailed these two because that was just something, it could have helped us a lot this year because we've got teachers having to make up days at this point. We could have done those days during the year remotely or do blizzard bags. So you're right, that doesn't need to be a part of the calendar. It's a separate resolution that we will be voting on either in June or July.
Okay.
Mrs. Bowers, you call roll, please, bless you.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Paul.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
The next item is,
Bless you.
we did have some additional graduates that were able to meet graduation requirements or complete things that were not completed when you got your, when we had our prior board meeting to approve the list of graduates. So those were included. There were a handful more. And while I'm on that, I would like to just basically recognize the staff here at Edgewood High School for really an amazing graduation. The entire staff, the secretaries, Kane, Christy, Melissa. Big shout out from Dr. Tozier, Mallory Tozier, the assistant principal, just organizing it, collaborating with staff to make a really nice graduation ceremony. Rusty, Bree Love, was spent the whole week in there getting it prepped and doing all the preparation for the curtains, the staging, as well as Scotty Clemens was helping Rusty throughout that. Spent a lot of time coordinating with the flower pickup and just getting that gym ready. Jean Milholland is the evening custodian. She mopped and cleaned that gym, spick and span. Those upper bleachers had been stored outside. Those auxiliary bleachers we rented, those things were like brand new when she got done with them. Again, Donnie Coombs really spent a lot of time making sure that gym was not hot, and we were a little fortunate we didn't have hot weather, but I had people complaining it was cold, and that was a good problem to have.
Right.
So
When it
good
started.
people.
When it started, they said it was cold, by the end it was not.
Yeah, but we had some extra graduates at their graduation requirements, so that's what you're approving are those additional graduates.
Is there a motion to approve the additional graduates as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Fall. Mrs. Bowers, you call the roll, please.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Pohl.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Item G are 2 overnight field trips. This is boys and girls basketball team camp trips. These are overnight trips, so they require board approval.
Is there a motion to approve the 2 overnight field trips as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Fall, is there a second? Second. Mrs. Barnes. Is there any discussion on this item, these items?
They're both going to Kentucky, Western Kentucky and Transylvania.
Mrs. Bowers, you call the roll, please.
Mr. Kevin Pohl.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
So, the Purple Star Award recognition, we ordered frames, we get these framed up for the offices, but, the Edgewood Middle School and Edgewood High School, under the leadership of, Emily Tilton, who is our coordinator of military families, once again renewed their Purple Star Awards, which is their commitment to military families, supporting not only the kids of military families, but the military veterans in our community, in the school and outside the school. Emily, that's just something she's passionate about, and she does a lot of great things, and both the middle school and high school renewed their commitment to that also, and we both received Purple Stars. I know that the principal is doing other things tonight, but Emily wanted to present those awards and let the board know that they got their awards. Again, those are 3-year awards.
Mrs. Adams.
She's back there.
No, I didn't. She made it. She made it. So congratulations, you got your awards. And so there's nothing to vote on. Just want that to be in the minutes. Middle school and high school got the Purple Star Awards renewed.
I tell you, it makes me feel really good to see just how much emphasis that this district puts on military service. Being a retired Army guy, the Purple Star Award obviously is a big deal. The Veterans Day stuff that we do so much, and I tell you, it makes the hair on my neck stand up. When we were at graduation the other night, the first thing that we did was recognize those folks that enlisted into the military, and I just thought that was just so awesome. So, it all kind of starts at the community level, right? I think we definitely have it here, so I appreciate all those folks that make all that stuff happen and do all that work, because it's a lot of work, but it certainly is appreciated.
Awesome, thank you. The last thing I got for informational items, I did introduce Andrew Wiest, and I know he already left. Ryan Oler's here, and I know he will be voted on later as well. Andrew, after executive session, it's my recommendation that we name Ryan Oler the coordinator of technology. Ryan's been a loyal member of that department for 10 years, and has really worked closely with Zach. I think he's got the love for Edgewood, the drive, the hunger to learn what he needs to learn. And I'm excited for Ryan and honored to nominate him for that position. And we're losing a good one in Zach. but Zach's commitment to help Ryan be successful is one of the reasons that I felt confident in asking Ryan if he was interested. He was super excited, so I'm honored to nominate him tonight for that role.
Good to see you go, Zach. Wish you all the best, though.
Yeah.
And that's all I have. Oh, yeah, I do have one more, don't I? Forgot about that. Was that on the agenda? Okay, so last month we talked about pay to play. And again, one thing I didn't really know, but I wanted to know, was how many athletes are getting free or reduced pay to play fees. It surprised me how many were. I really didn't know what to expect. And you can see there, I've got two different options. And I gave you these options last time. I believe I only gave you one. A $400 pay to play fee, which would be a $100 reduction. Right now we do $500, and free, $1,000 per student cap. My recommendation, my proposals would be the third sports are not free, but the total free sport would still be less than the $1,000 you're paying now. Option A I've got is a $400, and 100 would be a $900 total, would still be a $100 savings, and again, $100 for each sport. And then there's a $350, and a $150, which would be a $200 savings, or $150 savings on three sports. The big change is, do we charge students who are on free or reduced lunch more than we currently are? I actually recommend that we reduce what we charge for reduced lunch, but actually that we charge students who are on free lunch. Not that I'm looking to subsidize regular families with free, but if you're in NYA or any sport, you're paying something for your youth sports. The fact that we have 312 students on a free lunch that are paying nothing, it's pretty substantial. To charge a small amount, which would help offset some of the costs of the pay to play, also speaks to commitment of the student athlete, and I don't see that being a big deterrent from students participating, because we're trying to remove barriers. So you've got a couple proposals there. The math never works out, but these are the numbers that we had at the end of this school year. We had approximately 415 full pay, 52 reduced, and 312 free. And you can see that based on this, and this is not the number we collected, and again, I'll never know how we got to this number we got to, but based on this math, so it's consistent across all the proposals, you can see there that the current fee structure with 415 full pay, 52 reduced, and the reducer were 300 per sport, and then 312 free, netted a total of $223,100. Option A, which would be the pay to play going down to 400, the reduced going to 250, and the free being charged 150 per sport. 150, and 50, so it would be a total of $350 per year, which is still a pretty good bargain to play year-round sports. You would actually make about the same amount of money, $225,800 in that proposal. If you went down to the lower option of 350, the 350, 150, and then again the free could be, you could do a 100. You could do a 150, and I worked that out in that scenario as well. You would see there on the next page, if you did the free students at 100 instead of 150, you would collect $31,200, and your total would be $210. So it'd be about $13,000 less than you're collecting now. But the hope would be you get some increased participation by lowering the pay to play 100. I don't know that that's substantial enough to increase participation, but it is a reduction. Option B, if you lowered it to 350, and then if you did the 250 on reduced and the 100 on pay to play, you're at 189,450, which would be pretty substantial reduction of over $30,000. I don't know if you would recoup that and increase participation. And you can see currently we waive $156,000 paid play fees for free lunch, and we waive $10,400 in reduced fees. So, and I think that was one of the board members' recommendations that we look at that. So I just gave you some different scenarios to look at. I don't think we're ready to make a decision tonight, but I know this was enough the information that we wanted, so I wanted you to have it and got those numbers for you. So you can play with it. You can plug in the numbers, do the math. I think ultimately, Patty would feel better if we're collecting at or near the amount we're collecting now, because a lot of the other things we're doing are costing money, and the state's telling us to cut positions and reduce expenditures. So lowering pay to play is not doing that, but the theory is if we can increase participation, if we can find the sweet spot to lower the participation fees enough that we maybe increase participation that we break even, that's a win-win. So that's what I put out there for you guys.
Can you tell us, just so it's out there, what's the income level to qualify for free?
I don't have that off the top of my head.
Does anybody know that?
I signed enough of those. I've looked at that.
Because it is low.
It's pretty low.
Is there a way we can find
Any
that?
principals know that? You know off the top of your head?
Jenny's Googling, I
Free
can see it in
reduced
her
lunch?
face. No.
Because I might have it in my computer. Yeah, I don't know if it's changed since I was the principal over there, but I used to sign off on all those.
While you're looking at that, just looking at option A and option B, that's $100 savings and $150 savings over the current plan. I don't know that that's really removing any barriers. So I do kind of think, if we really want to remove barriers, option B, I do kind of like the way that looks, but I think that third sport, and I actually learned this from Gary Gabbard, we're paying the supplementals whether the kids are participating or not, and it seems like we've had an increase in spring sports because that third sport was free. I would just, my personal thought on that would be maybe take a look at whether we could still do that at the 350 mark. And then in terms of free and reduced, kind of my opinion on that is I don't know that there's a whole lot of difference in those. I almost kind of think those should be similar, if not the same.
So it says for 4, their income is $59,000 a year for a family of 4 to qualify for free lunch. I mean,
The whole idea is to remove barriers, increase participation. And we know we're not going to make money on this. We just want to try to minimize.
How much do we have an appetite to save or cut? The other thing I thought about too was, we're trying to increase participation and remove barriers, but we also got to be mindful that we're likely to be on the ballot in the near future. And you don't want to, people that don't have kids in sports, that's something that may not be a really positive position. So I did also look at our neighbors and what they're charging. We have one of the higher paid plays. Most, obviously Fairfield's probably getting ready to change and buy new recent news. A lot of schools have no or very small fees. I don't know if Franklin's going to change. Lakota's one that's more comparable to us. It's 300 high school, 225 for junior high. A lot of them have Loveland is 310. A lot of them have lower middle school rates and have high school rates. But like I said, most of our neighbors are charging less than us as it is now.
do they do the free and reduced schedule like we do?
That I don't know. I'm just looking at their prices.
They do not. The Ross doesn't have those. Do you know what Ross and Holland are? if they're able to participate in.
What's that? I don't have Ross's, I have, Talawanda's is not on here either.
I think it'd be a healthy discussion for the next meeting, but I do think we need to make some changes to this, because I do think this is a barrier to some families. Especially families with multiple kids. There's no family cap, right? So,
Nope. Just 500 free.
I think we have some opportunities with this. I got some ideas, but I think it'd be a really good conversation to bring this up as a agenda item next month and try to figure this out before.
When do we, like, what's our,
Well, I mean, you want it in place for the start of the school year. We'll communicate it in the weeks leading up, you know, especially for fall sports. They start August, you know, early August. So it'd be nice for people to
we
know.
definitely need to talk about it at the June meeting.
I have an appetite for lower.
I would like to lower it. I would also not like to increase the fee and reduce. I
Yeah.
mean, if you have a family with $59,000, they have 2 kids, you have to pick which one gets to play, and they probably don't get groceries that month. I'm just saying, I mean, I just can see that as $150, you know, to some people, it's a lot of money. Especially when you have school fees, which I know they pay reduced school fees, but they also have all the other stuff, you know, that comes at the beginning of school, so.
It's just.
If they play ball.
It's a tough thing to do, you know. We have seen increased participation, and maybe that was due to because the first couple of years when it dipped, we didn't do it for free and reduced, and that could have been, you know, it's creeping back up with just the way it is. So if we can maybe tweak it a little bit, but again, I know Patty's watching that bottom line real closely, so I don't want to recommend something that's going to hurt us, but.
Thank you for putting the information together. I agree, the whole idea of wanting to increase participation. And I have multiple kids in the sports, and I understand all of those sides, but also for me, I understand, I don't want it to be a barrier to pay something, but I feel they do have to invest something.
Yeah.
And so even if it's $50 or $100, you can't go play, say, soccer for less than $100.
I don't think they play soccer. I'm just saying, like, they're not on select teams, they're not on traveling teams. I think they don't get that opportunity. I think when you have a kid who goes to a public school, they expect to be able to play on a sports team that they don't pay $2,500 for.
No, I mean like say,
okay,
a rec league is still $150. And the other thing I'd like to say to that is, I know we've had a ton of people in the community, and I don't know how you incorporate that into it, but like I mentioned too, like maybe you have some sort of, hey, we've had tons of people saying, if you have anybody with the fee as the barrier,
yes,
we would be glad to help out with that. But I think having some investment into it of some sort, whether it's monetary or if you volunteer for the booster of some sort, you know what I mean? Just some investment, I think could go a long way to just, and I don't want it to be a barrier, but I mean something.
I don't disagree with that. I think the key is finding the sweet spot that increases participation.
Right.
What increases participation? Because that's the whole point. We want more kids to participate.
Yep. I agree.
So we'll put that on the
We'll add it
agenda.
on the agenda next month, and we'll just keep it as a discussion item until the board's ready to put a proposal.
I will also, I know it will come up eventually, I'm sure at some point, but, and this is my opinion, I know I haven't been part of that discussion, but if we're gonna ask more our community and students to pay to participate, that we should probably look at also freezing those supplementals, if we're gonna ask that. It's just my opinion at that time, I could be up for discussion. I feel it needs to at least be discussed if we're asking them to pay. I'll look at that.
I don't know the history on that. I know maybe that's been done in years past. I'm not really sure, sir.
Have we frozen supplemental?
Yes, we've done supplementals before.
Okay, we'll add those to the agenda for next month. I think that's all I got.
All right, thank you. All right, board member items.
You go first, so nobody takes your stuff. I've already kind of think you're done with
I'm a little salty on that, I'll tell you.
it. I can tell.
I should start reporting on veterans and stuff. Well, I just want to bring to the attention the student achievement The extracurriculars, not just athletics, but we did have 16 athletes sign other letters of intent. And I know Mark said it's 3.822 GPA combined between all of those guys, so that was pretty good. I did ask Scotty to get me the GPAs for spring sports. Softball definitely wins, 4.02. Baseball, 3.665. Boys lacrosse is a 3.03. Girls lacrosse, 3.334. Boys track, 2.8. Girls track, 3.4. And boys volleyball, 3.13. So those are pretty high averages. And I asked them how many of those guys are in the National Honor Society. So 52 members of our extracurricular department are in the National Honor Society. And we have 52 members in the National Honor Society. 44 of those are either on our sports team, involved with band corliers, or FFA. He did point that out for me. So, yeah. So I mean, we have a lot. We have high achieving and the athletic, their extracurricular, and their GPAs and things. So thanks for that, Scotty.
The softball, they're average so high. They had Madison Farrell. She graduated with 5.9 GPA or something.
Yeah, they got 4, but I keep better hit or 5 higher.
They had a pretty good head start. So
The whole team could have had a 1.0 and she brought it up. They said 5.9. I'm like, God, I was impressed. I had 3.9. I thought that was good. I thought it went down. Ridiculous. All right, well, that's all I have. Mark?
So, wanted to talk about got an opportunity to go to the spring concert at the middle school a couple weeks ago, and then the art fair. I've been doing that for a lot of years, going and seeing that, and just always, it always amazes me at how good the arts are here. I'm a big fan of that kind of stuff, and I used to take my daughter when she was at EIS over there so she could see it and be a part of it. And now she's getting to participate in it. So shout out to all those folks that made that possible over there, because that was such a great event. If you're not doing anything tomorrow night, John Arnold's got his spring jazz concert. I went to it last year. Unbelievably talented group of individuals up on the stage. So just wanted to remind everybody that that's going on. And then something that hit close to home with me at my house is my daughter got an opportunity to go on the DC trip. And I tell you, the passion that she had around that, and just seeing all the pictures that she was sending back, and just all those kids and smiling and how happy they were, and Bob Hawkins, I think the world of that guy, and those kids, they love him to death. There's pictures of him with the kids, and me just super engaged with them, and honestly, he's really made an impact on my daughter and probably a lot of other kids around here. So very appreciative that he does that, and I sure hope when he retires that there is somebody else that will step in and take that on, because that's just a pretty incredible thing. Then we talked about how good graduation was, and it truly, really was. I was very impressed at how well it turned out. Got a lot of unsolicited compliments from people that were there about how good it was. And you just want to congratulate the class of 2026 one more time. And this will be the last time we talk before the end of school. Just hope everybody has a safe summer, and look forward to seeing everybody come back in the fall.
I spoke with Lindsay White, and she shared with me some things that were going on in our special ed department. And I think sometimes students that receive special services don't get the accolades that our typical students do. But one of the things she bragged on was the All Champions Day, where the DECA group partnered up with our students that have multiple disabilities for their annual All Champions Day. And she talked about how during the celebration, the classes gathered at the stadium, and they got to enjoy like face painting and carnival games, crafts, and other interactive experiences with their buddies. They had a buddy assigned to them. And she said it was just good to see the kids interact, and it was a genuineness that they were interacting with one another and accepting and the compassion that the kids showed. So that warmed my heart. And then we want to shout out to Presley West. She is a second grader, and she received an outstanding, the RA Horn Outstanding Student Achievement This award recognizes one exemplary student from each SST region whose achievements reflect resilience, and that is a big thing we need to teach our kids. Excellence and the belief that every student deserves respect and opportunity. She was able to go over spring break. I believe Mrs. Halsey went with them, and they went to a special luncheon, and now she's been invited to go to Columbus in June and be up there to be recognized. So I think that was just great. And then Mrs. White wanted to make sure we had a shout out to Samantha Rich, who is one of our occupational therapists, and she was chosen as a finalist for the Southwest Ohio Exceptional Educator of the Year Award with the State Support Team 13. And this is just the Exceptional Educator Honor Awards, the educator and the team of educators who have made outstanding contributions by improving access to and progress within the general curriculum for students with disability. So anytime that we can celebrate that and get these kids engaged, I think that's awesome. So that's all I got. Good. Mr. Paul?
I wanted to share that the voucher hearing was last Tuesday, so hopefully you had a chance to stay up to date. That process will continue. It'll probably move up into the court system on the voucher program. That was last Tuesday on the 12th. There's still being some appeals and whatnot, lower courts, but they did not give an updated timeline on when it may move on. But along with that, there was a number of levies that were up on surrounding schools, so just always share that everybody stay up on those and our surrounding neighbors, and who's going to continue to hopefully have to figure stuff out, not being a physical emergency. Hopefully we can do our best to stay out of that for as long as possible. So the other thing I want to share is that all these activities going on, it's been the gauntlet at the end of school here for the last few weeks, but the other thing I want to mention was senior awards night. Not only was our valedictorian and salutatorian, but all the group of seniors at that awards night for their academic and athletic and extracurricular and scholarships. Man, the money that is available out there, and I'm very proud of that whole class for how they adapted and how hard they worked to not just do well here, but hopefully do well moving in the future at whatever their endeavor is going to be, from work placement to school to military, trade schools, etc. So it was really exciting to be a part of that, and then it was a highlight of mine. As everybody's always told me, it's exciting to hand out diplomas. And it was definitely an experience in itself, but I also got a lot of unsolicited compliments on how well the event went. And I know hopefully enrollment may dictate that we can't do that at some point in the future, but while we can, I think it is a nice environment to do so in. And the speaker did very well coming back and circling back around to honor some of our long-beloved teachers and whatnot, and Ryan did well with that, but it was really fun to have that opportunity to hand out diplomas, so thank you.
Anything else? You got to give your son his diploma?
That was very cool.
That's very cool.
And he behaved.
All right. Let's see. So next, we will look for a motion to go into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee or official. Is there a motion for executive session?
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Barnes. Mrs. Bowers, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. It is 8:10 p.m.
All right, we're back in regular session, 9:43. Is there a motion to approve the administrative and exempt benefit compensation schedule as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Fall, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Messerschmidt. Mrs. Bowers, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Is there a motion to approve the 26 through 28 supplemental salary schedule as presented?
Yes.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Fall. Mrs. Bowers, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Is there a motion to approve the job description for Director of Business Operations and Coordinator of Technology as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Mrs. Barnes. Mrs. Bowers, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Is there a motion to approve the supplemental nomination of Chris Barnes as
We
presented?
skipped the
We did?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Is there a motion to approve the personnel nominations? That's kind of the important one.
So moved.
As presented, Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Fall.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Now is there a motion to approve the supplemental nomination of Chris Barnes as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Fall, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Messerschmidt. Mrs. Bowers, will you call roll?
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Abstain.
Motion carries.
Is there a motion to approve the supplemental nomination of Vicky Fall as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Barnes. Mrs. Bowers, will you call roll, please?
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Abstain.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution to,
Can we block them?
block the retire, rehire procedures, initiate those proceedings on G through I?
So moved.
Mr. Messerschmidt, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Fall. Mrs. Bowers, will you call roll?
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right, and at this time, we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Fall, is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Barnes. Mrs. Bowers, will you call roll?
Mr. Kevin Fall.
Yes.
Mrs. Lori Barnes.
Yes.
Mrs. Amy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Messerschmidt.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. It is 9:47 p.m.